Hey, Freak Nation, it's the first time that Harrison Burton's been in the Freak Nation, I believe. But it's not the first time a Burton's been in here. Harrison Burton, again, last year in the Cup Series and now kicking some ass in the Xfinity Series, joining us here in the Freak Nation. We're going to talk about Full Speed Season 2 coming up on Netflix in moments. But Harrison, I said this just before us going live with you. You've lived the life of several people, given where you've come from, to the Cup Series, to the Xfinity Series. Has your dad or somebody, maybe your mom, been a mental coach for young Harrison Burton through all the trials and tribulations?
I think everyone around me has, right? Like I've got this great support system around me, whether it's my dad, whether it's my mom, my fiance. Uh, but yeah, I have. I've been through the ups and downs, man. I've lived racer's life for sure, right? Of success. I've won at the highest level. I've been the guy that's been the most hyped prospect, and I've been the guy that loses his job. So I've just got all this experience and all this life experience, right, kind of going for me, and I think it's a big weapon for me. I feel more hungry, more motivated now than I ever have. I just want to be successful in this sport, and I know I can do it. That's the thing that's frustrating, but also encouraging, right? Is the days that you don't do it, you're like, why not? I know I can. It's a battle that I think a lot of racers go through. Something that I think I didn't know this, right? But my dad went through, Dale Jarrett went through. So I had all these people reach out to me when I lost the Wood Brothers job. Like, hey man, this isn't over. You're 24 years old. Get back up on the saddle and go. And that's been, I think words that I've lived by and now starting to see the results in the Xfinity Series.
Not that when you just said your age, it just reminded me of my story. This is not about me, but I do want to say this just real quick. At 24, I declared bankruptcy and moved out to Los Angeles to get an acting job. I mean, lo and behold, I got this gig through my agent, which was amazing 25 years later. But yeah, it's like nothing is over in your mid-20s. I mean, the world is still completely at your feet. And where you really impressed me after your Daytona win last year and then making it into the playoffs, and then people did, some of the media wanted to be like, hey, but you lost your ride. It's like your first reaction to some of those questions were, hey, I can't wait to take what I've learned in the Cup Series and apply it to this Xfinity ride. My mind was blown. I thought that's a guy that's going places. It's about the ebbs and flows and how you handle them.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's something that I think is one of my biggest strengths. And also, I was so lucky to have a great relationship with everyone at the Wood Brothers that it was no like, bad feelings, right? Like they truly care about me. They still send me stuff. It's their 75th season. You can see right there. It's something that they sent me for, their 75th season, or Leonard Woods built me RC cars that you can see in the background as well. So like, I have a great relationship with that group. So it made it a way less bitter taste in my mouth. Right. And it was really, to me, about self-reflection and what I can do to be better. And I feel I'm doing those things, to be better, and it's starting to show in the AM racing team, and we're turning that program around, which I'm super excited about, and we've got the right people over there. So yeah, not obviously for me it's all been about moving forward and what's next, and that's been the biggest weapon of mine, and I've raced the best drivers in the world for the past 3 years, so I've learned a lot. And I feel I can take that with me to the future, and hopefully when I get back to the Cup Series, I'll be ready to go again and understand and fire off with some pace.
Okay, yes, relationships matter, as you clearly already know at your ripe young age. But I'm going to go off of something else you just said right there. The best drivers in the world he raced against for 3 years. Formula One doesn't want to deal with that. IndyCar doesn't want to deal with that. Now we got an argument going with NHRA versus IndyCar on this whole Fox network. But that's what reality shows do. It's like, fine, you want to get to know us to find out who truly is the best athlete, the best driver, the best personality in this sport. Full speed. There it is. So what are we going to see from you, Harrison Burton?
Yeah, I mean, for me, full speed was such a cool opportunity, something that came together pretty late as I had won my way into the playoffs with 2 weeks till the playoffs started. So it was like, hey, you won this race, and now Netflix crew is going to follow you around for your everyday life. Get used to it. It's like, okay. So, it was really fun to go through that. I'm really excited to see what they how that's portrayed or how it's viewed. I've gotten to see the episode that I'm in, and just super cool for me to see my fiance or my parents or my sister or my friends or whoever may be on camera, because now it's on a Netflix show, right? And so to me, it's just such a great opportunity for myself, but also for our sport to really show the stories and what racing is about. It's so hard, and people that are listening or watching this show are obviously invested in motorsports, so they get it. But it's so hard to explain to the everyday person why driving a race car is hard, because they can't go do it. They can't go throw a football and I can do that and say, okay, yep, I'm not Tom Brady, but they can't jump in a race car. And so trying to convey that, I think, is hopefully what we did a good job of, what I did a good job of, and what it means to all of us, right? We're willing to do things that the average human wouldn't do just to go win a race, much less, keep your job or run, bet one spot better. I've seen guys, we watched Michael McDowell this past weekend crash running third, willing to put it all on the line to try and win a race. I've seen him do that same thing for 15th, trying to pass me too. So that guy races hard. And that's how all those guys are. It's just such a dog eat dog sport. And that's what makes it really special.
What is the most difficult thing for you? Is it in the cockpit? Is it outside the cockpit to keep you mentally focused in the gruelingly long season that NASCAR is?
Yeah, for me, it's outside. When I'm in the race car, I'm locked in, right? And that's what's really unfortunate about that. The way my brain just works is I'm able to tune out the rest of the world for 3 or 4 hours and go to a different place and focus on being the best race car driver I can be. For me, the hardest thing is outside the race car, getting distracted or whatever is not really been a problem for me. I don't have all these distractions in my life, but prioritizing things, right? As a race car driver, it's a sport that takes everything to succeed. It takes everything out of you. And so for me, it's really hard to tell, my fiance or my friends, hey, I can't do that because I have to do this. And I have to do that all the time. That's my life since I was 5 years old has been, no, I can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. Got to go to the racetrack. And it's not, I guess not, I have to, but I want to go to the racetrack. And so, that's such a challenge for me and something that I think, I'm getting better at. It's just hard for me to say no to everybody.
Wow.
Freak Nation, his name, Harrison Burton, joining us here in the Freak Nation Full Speed Season 2 Netflix debuts this week, again on Netflix. Of course, Harrison Burton was part of the 24 playoffs in the NASCAR Cup Series. And Harrison, you can't escape being Jeff Burton's son. You can't. All right?
As much as I wish I could. No, I'm kidding. But
listen,
I'm kidding.
When we started Speed Freaks, we prided ourselves in being honest, and you saw warts and all, which again was unsettling to some people 20 years ago. When we said, Jeff Burton, come on here, Jeff Burton was himself. He that's who Jeff Burton is.
At the time, he was very vocal with us and not with other interviews.
Yeah.
So it started. People would look around and go, "What?"
Yeah. So there are two easy questions to ask you, and I'm not a low hanging fruit guy, but I am going to ask these of you because I'm an admirer of your old man. Tougher being your dad's son, or tougher following in your dad's footsteps through the series into the Cup Series?
That's a great question. Well, I'll say this. My dad was the best dad I could ever ask for. I grew up, my dad was my hero. Now, what that meant was when he got mad at me or when he told me I wasn't doing good enough in the race car or told me I needed to do this or that, it was personal for me, right? Because I'm like, dude, like, I don't know. It felt different, right? So, that was really hard, right? When my dad would, he was, I mean, you guys know my dad, right? He's kind of a hard ass. And so he'd get in my face. I'm 6, 7 years old. And he's like, hey, what are you doing? And it created this level of intensity in my driving. I think it's definitely been a great thing for me. I handle adversity way better because of how hard he was on me in the race car. I think that was the hardest thing that we've ever had to deal with relationship wise, was the arguments over racing. And it's not arguments, or I guess that was the wrong word, but him trying to teach me and doing it his way, which was pretty harsh, right? And so I really learned a lot from him in that way. Me and him are honestly best friends, right? Like, I call my dad and talk to him all the time. We just shoot the crap and go play golf or whatever, right? So I'm trying not to paint him in a bad light, because that's not what I'm saying. But my point is, it was challenging growing up, being, I guess, idolizing him and wanting him to be proud of me. And then he was always real. He was always like, hey, this isn't good enough. And that was always kind of a tough thing.
But now look at you. I mean, it's the way it was supposed to be.
Well, where I'm leading into is Crasher and we're married. We have an 11-year-old daughter. We haven't gotten there yet. We've gotten close where my daughter has said horrible things like, Dad, I hate you. Things like that.
Yeah.
But do you remember an instance where you looked at your old man and said, Dad, I hate you. Why are you my dad? Come on, be honest with me, Harrison. Oh, come on.
No,
man.
I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you yes. I don't remember it being like that. I just remember and I think being a teenage boys is always challenging, right? Because you're just trying to be the man of the house, and you're just not at that point. And when your dad's a race car driver, he's kind of got a leg up on you in the cool factor when you're just like a middle schooler playing lacrosse, right? So, I thought I never really got that bad, but he held his kids to a really high standard. My sister and I both. It wasn't just me. My sister and myself, I think he held to a high standard, and that led to us having moments of like, gosh, he's so tough on us and blah, 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 blah. But it was always, I think, a respectful way. I didn't, and I'm not, you know what I'm saying, but it was always a good thing for sure.
Growing up, I had not necessarily sibling rivalry, but I had cousin rivalry with some of my cousins. What about you and Jeb? Is there cousin rivalry?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Me and Jeb, I'm not like a crap talker, right? That much. I'm pretty like nonchalant, hang out, just be buddies with you until we get in the race car kind of guy. But I talk some serious smack to Jeb before we get in the race car every week. At Bristol, I told him he like qualified 2 spots behind me, and he looks up and he's like, I'll see you in a lap. And he turns around. I told him, oh, nice bald spot there, guy, when he was turning around. And it like, he snapped around so fast. He was wanting to fight, and then he had to get in his race car. Like, I'm one leg in the race car at this point. And so, love the guy to death. Like, he's family, obviously, but we're super competitive, which is good. It fuels both of us. I think when the 27 car is behind me, I drive harder than I drive ever in my life, and him vice versa. I mean, he put me in the wall at Darlington, and like, we were going at it. So it's been really fun. We always go right to the point of, okay, we're still respectful with each other on the racetrack. We take care of each other, but it's right up to it, and it's been fun. Jeb grew up in Virginia, and I grew up in North Carolina, so we didn't really spend a ton of time together. But the more time I spend around him, I just really start. We've gotten closer and closer and closer, and now we're to the point where we're just like kind of brothers picking on each other on the racetrack, which is super fun.
You see there, Freak Nation, I told you you'd like this dude. Harrison Burton, again, season 2, Netflix, full speed, joining us here in the Freak Nation. It seems like every other weekend we've got Joey Logano in the Freak Nation, and it always comes back to last year for him and how he wasn't necessarily the people's champion, how he got that championship, how people feel about how he got that championship. He played within the margins. He played within the rules and got himself a championship. Same for you making the playoffs. You played within the rules and you got in there, yet you caught a lot of grief because you played within the rules. You played within the rules of NASCAR. How did you handle that leading up to the playoffs?
Well, for me, it was pretty simple, right? Like, what did you want me to do? Not win the race? Like, did you want me to lift so that Kyle Busch could win and he could get in the playoffs? Like, what did you want me to do? I was raised, I was put in a race car, and I was always a competitor. That's how I was raised. That's how I'm always going to be. And so I mean, to me, it was a very simple. It's an A or B, right? Like, you can't. If they're mad at the system, that's fine. They can be mad at the system. I took zero offense to that. But for someone to say, oh, hey, Harrison shouldn't have won that race or something like, what do you want me to do? I mean, I'm here to win races. I'm here to contend and be the best driver and person that I can be. And so I, had put myself in position multiple times at super speedways. I've led laps of the Daytona 500 down to the wire. I've also flipped in the first stage of the Daytona 500. That's neither here nor there. But I've put myself in situations to win those races before, and I felt like it was good to finally get one. And it was not an easy win. I had Kyle Busch on the inside, Parker Redsloff behind me, and Christopher Bell was behind Kyle Busch. So you talk about an underdog, lineup where me and Parker Redsloff are lined up against Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell, and somehow found a way to get it done.
This has been awesome. We knew that people would fall in love with you once we get it out there. So, man, thanks for doing this. Again, Freak Nation, Full Speed Season 2, Netflix debuts this week. Buddy, thank you, and good luck to you, man.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me.